Most people want to change their lives, but they don't realize what's actually holding them back. It's not a lack of motivation, it's not bad luck, it's not that others have it easier. The truth is, they haven't built the discipline to follow through. Discipline is what makes the difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck. It's what helps you do the hard things when you don't feel like it. It's what turns goals into progress and routines into results. In this video, you're not just going to hear the usual advice about waking up early or writing a to-do list. You'll get something deeper, something that sticks. You'll learn how to build daily routines that shape your future, how to protect your time, how to say no without guilt, and how to push through when everything inside you wants to stop. Each chapter is real, practical, and made for people who want to stop waiting and finally take control. If you've ever felt like you're capable of more but just can't stay consistent, if you're tired of starting strong and burning out, or if you've been through setbacks and are ready to rebuild, you're in the right place. This isn't about being perfect, it's about becoming stronger every single day. So stay with me, because what you'll hear next might be the push you've been waiting for. Chapter 1. Build daily routines that shape who you become. Your life is built one day at a time. What you do each day quietly builds the person you're becoming. Whether you realize it or not, your routines are shaping your identity, your future, and your destiny. Discipline begins with what you choose to repeat. A single action done once can make a difference, but a daily routine done over time creates transformation. That's where real change starts, by deciding who you want to become, and then proving it through your consistent habit. People often wait for motivation to appear before they act, but that's not how disciplined people operate. They build their lives on systems, not feelings. Discipline is not about waiting until you feel inspired. It's about showing up even when you don't. Your routines become the evidence of your commitment to yourself. They are the structure that holds your goals in place. Without them, you drift. With them, you rise. Most people underestimate the power of daily action. They think change has to be dramatic to be meaningful. But that's not true. Quiet discipline, done daily, is more powerful than occasional bursts of intensity. Waking up and doing what needs to be done, especially when no one is watching, is what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. You don't become better by accident, you become better by design. If your life feels messy, disorganized, or directionless, the first thing to examine is your daily routine. Ask yourself, what do I do every day without fail? What am I feeding my mind? Where does my time go? What do my mornings look like? How do I end my nights? These questions are not small, they reveal the foundation of your life. The truth is simple, if your days are chaotic, your life will be too. But if your days are ordered, your life will reflect that same order. Building a powerful routine doesn't mean becoming robotic, it means becoming intentional. Instead of reacting to everything around you, you create a rhythm that supports your values, goals, and health. You don't just wake up and see what the day brings. You create your day on purpose. You set the tone before the world can set it for you. And when you do that consistently, you become someone with control, strength, and direction. Start by designing the first and last hour of your day. These are the anchors. The morning determines your mindset and energy. The evening determines your recovery and reflection. Protect them. Don't let your phone be the first or last thing you touch. Start your day with silence, clarity, and a simple plan. End your day with reflection, gratitude, and preparation for tomorrow. These 2 hours alone can reshape your entire life. You don't need a long list of tasks. What you need is a small set of non-negotiables. The mistake many people make is trying to overhaul everything all at once. That leads to burnout and failure. Instead, choose 3 to 5 core habits that will serve as the pillars of your routine. These might include waking up at the same time, moving your body, eating mindfully, planning your day, and ending your night with reflection. Keep it simple and repeatable. Repetition is the secret. The more you repeat something, the more automatic it becomes. At first, discipline will feel hard. Your mind will resist. You'll want to skip a day or make excuses. This is normal. But each time you do the thing anyway, you train yourself to act without permission, and eventually what once felt difficult becomes part of who you are. Discipline is not a trait you're born with. It's something you build through repetition and honesty with yourself. Expect resistance, but don't let it stop you. You will have days when you feel tired, overwhelmed, or uninspired. These are the days that count the most. Anyone can stick to a routine when they feel great, but growth comes from the days you don't feel like it and still show up. That's the day you earn your own respect. That's the day you become stronger. People will often say they don't have time, but that's not the real issue. The real issue is they haven't made their routines a priority. Everyone has the same number of hours. What separates people is how they use them. If you value growth, you will carve out time for it. If you want to improve your mind, you will find space to read or reflect. If you want to improve your body, you will move it daily. What you prioritize shows up in your routine. Everything else is just noise. There is no perfect routine. What matters is that it serves your values and pushes you forward. Don't copy someone else's life. Design one that matches your goals, your needs, and your mission, and then own it. Be proud of the structure you build for yourself. A routine is not a cage. It's the framework that gives your life shape and meaning. Freedom comes from order, not from chaos. Discipline doesn't mean never resting. It means knowing when to work and when to rest on purpose. It means giving your energy to the right things instead of wasting it on impulse. It means doing what matters before doing what's easy. The routine gives you the space to grow in all areas, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. But it starts with commitment to something small and doing it every day, without fail. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to do something today. Begin with one habit that reflects the person you want to become. Show up for it. Repeat it. Track it. Refine it. Let it become part of you. Then add the next one, and another. Slowly your life will start to shift. You'll feel more grounded. You'll think more clearly. You'll handle challenges with more strength. Because your routine is no longer about tasks. It's a reflection of your identity. Look around at anyone who has built a meaningful life, and you'll see one thing in common. They have systems. They don't leave their success to chance. They know that discipline is the bridge between who they are and who they want to become. Their daily choices reflect that. They wake up early. They plan ahead. They guard their time. They protect their energy. Not because they are special, but because they understand that every day is a chance to build. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start with the day in front of you. Build one habit. Set one intention. Finish one task. And then do it again tomorrow. Each small win builds confidence. Each act of discipline builds strength. Over time you will look back and see how far you've come, not because you did something dramatic, but because you stayed the course when most people gave up. The world will try to pull you in many directions. Distractions will always be there. Challenges will never stop. But if you have a routine built on purpose, those things won't shake you. You'll stay steady. You'll stay focused. You'll know who you are because you've proven it to yourself through action. That is the quiet power of discipline. That is the reward of routine. You don't need more motivation. You need more structure. Build a routine so strong that it holds you up when your emotions try to pull you down. Let your actions guide your feelings, not the other way around. Discipline means doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. And that level of consistency will change everything about your life. In the end, your routine is your life. It is not separate from who you are. It is the foundation upon which everything else stands. Your relationships, your work, your health, your peace, all of it depends on the choices you make every day. So choose wisely. Don't rush it. Don't overcomplicate it. But take it seriously. Because each day is an opportunity to either drift or build. Choose to build. If you can win the day, you can win the week. If you can win the week, you can win the month. And if you can win the month, you can win the year. It all starts today. Discipline is not something you wait for. It is something you build one action at a time. It is something you earn through repetition, reflection, and relentless focus. That is how you change. That is how you grow. That is how you become the person you were meant to be. Start now. Decide who you want to be. Design a day that reflects that decision. Repeat it without excuse. Discipline is everything, and it starts with the routines you choose to live by. Chapter 2. Break distractions that weaken your mental focus. Distractions are not just annoying, they are dangerous. They steal time, drain energy, and scatter attention so subtly that most people don't even notice the damage until it's too late. Every moment you give to something unimportant is a moment taken away from what truly matters, and over time, those moments add up. They create a pattern, a mindset, a life where your potential is buried under constant noise. To break distractions is not just about clearing your schedule, it's about protecting your mind, guarding your attention, and reclaiming control over your life. Modern life is designed to pull you in every direction. Notifications light up your phone. Endless content waits for your attention, and every app is built to keep you hooked. The world is full of things that feel urgent but have no value. If you don't step back and take control, you will always be reacting. Discipline begins when you stop letting the outside world dictate how you think and what you do. Focus is not something you find, it is something you create by what you remove. You don't need more time, you need fewer distractions. You already have enough hours in the day, but your attention is split into pieces. Each interruption may only last a few seconds, but it breaks the rhythm of your mind. It takes time to refocus, and that time is lost again and again until entire days are gone, with nothing meaningful to show for them. The brain thrives on deep concentration. When you protect your focus, your energy sharpens, your work improves, and your thinking becomes clear. Breaking distractions starts with awareness. You have to know what's pulling your attention before you can remove it. Take a close look at how you spend your day. Track it if you must. Notice what grabs your attention without your permission. It might be social media, background noise, mindless scrolling, or checking your phone every few minutes. These habits may seem small, but they slowly weaken your ability to stay present. You can't fight what you refuse to see. Once you've identified the distractions, take them seriously. Don't treat them as harmless. Treat them as obstacles to your growth. If something repeatedly takes your time without giving you value, cut it out. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Put your phone out of reach while you work. Keep only the tabs you need open. Create a physical environment that encourages focus, not one that invites interruption. Your space should support your goals, not compete with them. The people around you also influence your focus. If you surround yourself with constant noise, drama, or shallow conversation, your thinking will reflect that same chaos. Protect your mental space by choosing what kind of energy you allow it. This doesn't mean avoiding people, it means choosing to spend more time with those who respect your boundaries and support your direction. Your environment is more powerful than your willpower. Set it up wise. It's not enough to remove distractions. You must also build habits that strengthen your focus. One of the most effective ways to do this is by working in time blocks. Choose one task, set a timer, work on that one thing until the time is up. No switching, no checking, no multitasking. This is how your mind learns to go deep. Shallow focus gets shallow results. Deep focus creates real progress. Even a short period of undisturbed work can produce more than hours of scattered effort. Train your brain to stay with something longer than it wants to. In the beginning, it will be difficult. Your mind will wander. You'll reach for your phone. You'll feel restless. But this is the moment of growth. Don't give in. Stay with the task. Let the discomfort come and go. The longer you hold your attention, the stronger your focus becomes. Attention is like a muscle. It grows through effort, not ease. Another powerful tool is reflection. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to ask yourself, where did I lose focus? What stole my time? What can I do better tomorrow? This small act of awareness builds discipline. It turns your day into feedback. You stop repeating the same mistakes because you begin to notice them. Improvement doesn't come from perfection. It comes from paying attention and adjusting consistently. You must also be honest about the role your habits play. If you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, you start your day in distraction. If you try to work while checking messages, you never enter full focus. These habits may seem small, but they shape your mental state. Replace them with stronger ones. Start your day with clarity. Begin your work with intention. Close your day with reflection. These simple actions reduce noise and bring your focus back under your control. There's also emotional distraction, the kind that comes from an unsettled mind. Fear, anxiety, regret, overthinking. All of these cloud your ability to focus. You can't concentrate when your thoughts are spinning. This is why it's important to clear your mind through movement, meditation, or journaling. A calm mind is a focused mind. You can't build discipline if your emotions are constantly pulling you in different directions. Learn to slow down. Learn to breathe. Learn to center yourself before you begin. Discipline is not just about what you do, it's about how you think. If your thoughts are scattered, your actions will be too. If your attention is reactive, your choices will be weak. Strong focus comes from a clear purpose. Know what matters to you. Know what you are building. Know what kind of life you are trying to create. When that purpose is clear, distractions lose their power. They no longer tempt you because they don't align with who you are becoming. You won't always be perfect. You will get distracted. You will slip into old habits. But the goal is not perfection. It's awareness. Catch yourself early. Refocus quickly. Don't waste time feeling guilty. Just return to the work. Every time you do, you train your mind to obey you instead of the world around you. That is how discipline grows, in the small decisions made when no one is watching. Breaking distractions also means learning to be alone with your thoughts. Many people reach for their phone the moment silence appears. They avoid stillness because it makes them uncomfortable. But stillness is where clarity lives. You need time to think, to process, to reflect. Without it, your mind stays shallow. Don't be afraid of boredom. Don't be afraid of silence. Use it to reset your attention and reconnect with your purpose. If you want to live with power, live with focus. Protect your time like it matters, because it does. You don't get it back. Every distraction you break is a step closer to your best work, your clearest thinking, and your strongest self. The more you protect your mind, the more it will work for you instead of against you. And that is the heart of discipline. not forcing yourself to work harder, but training yourself to work with clarity and control. Discipline begins the moment you say no to the things that waste your time. It grows each time you hold your focus when it wants to wander, and it becomes unshakable when your actions align with your highest values. That is what it means to break distractions, not just to stop the noise, but to build a mind strong enough to stay clear in a loud world. This is not easy, but it is worth it, because the life you want is waiting on the other side of your attention. Chapter 3. Take full control of how you spend time. Time is not just something you use, it is something you must learn to command. Every hour carries weight, whether you realize it or not. How you use your time is how you live your life. The way you handle your minutes and hours reflects what you truly value, not just what you claim to care about. If you want to live with purpose and direction, you must begin by owning every part of your day. This is not about filling every second with activity. It's about making sure your time is spent with intention, not wasted by default. Taking control of your time means stepping into full responsibility. You are not waiting for time to show up. You are telling it where to go. Most people don't realize how much time they lose to meaningless tasks, shallow decisions, or reactive behavior. They drift from one moment to the next, pulled by urgency, emotions, or distractions, and at the end of the day, they feel busy but unfulfilled. This is not how disciplined people live. Discipline begins when you stop being passive with your hours. It begins when you treat time as the most valuable resource you have, because it is. Unlike money or energy, once time is gone, you never get it back. The most successful people aren't the ones who do more, but the ones who make their time count more. To gain control, you must first become aware. Most people say they don't have enough time, but the truth is, they haven't tracked how they use it. If you want clarity, start by measuring. Write down how you spend your day. Notice where your minutes go. You might be shocked at how much time vanishes into checking things, switching tasks, waiting around, or reacting to unimportant problems. You can't fix what you won't face. Once you see the patterns, you can begin to change them. The next step is to remove the things that don't serve your direction. Time is not just about doing things, it's about not doing what wastes your energy. Say no more often. Don't agree to every request. Don't overbook your schedule. Eliminate tasks that don't bring results or meaning. Simplicity is power. The fewer useless obligations you have, the more energy you can give to what truly matters. You are not being selfish by protecting your time. You are being responsible. After that, you build a framework that supports the life you want to live. Decide what your non-negotiables are. Choose your priorities and give them blocks of focused time. If your health matters, schedule your workouts. If your mind matters, schedule time to read or reflect. If your goals matter, carve out space to work on them without interruption. Do not just hope you'll find time. Make time on purpose. Set it, keep it, defend it. If you treat your schedule with discipline, you will begin to trust yourself more. You will feel less scattered and more in control. Every minute you spend with intention increases your power. There is strength in knowing where your time is going. It gives you clarity. It gives you momentum. It gives you peace. You stop chasing and start building. Each focused hour becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. You don't just do tasks, you move in the direction of your vision. That kind of living builds confidence from the inside out. You must also learn to respect transitions. Many people lose time not because they're lazy, but because they waste the space between tasks. They finish one thing and wonder. They check their phones. They hesitate before starting the next tasks. These transition gaps destroy momentum. Train yourself to move from one focus to the next without losing rhythm. Give your day flow. When something ends, know what begins. When you finish one effort, step into the next without delay. The less time you waste switching, the more progress you make without extra hours. Don't fall into the trap of being busy. Being in motion is not the same as being in control. There is a difference between doing a lot and doing what matters. Just because your calendar is full doesn't mean your time is well spent. Real discipline means making hard choices about what deserves your attention and what doesn't. It means turning down things that are good so you can stay committed to what is best. Not every opportunity is worth your time. Not every task deserves your energy. You also need to learn how to create depth in your time. A single hour of focused work is worth more than 5 hours of half effort. If your mind is scattered, your results will be weak. Give your full attention to one task at a time. Stay in it. Do it well. Finish it before moving on. This habit alone can multiply your results without adding a single minute to your day. That is what it means to own your time. Not just filling it, but maximizing its impact. Time must also include space for recovery. You are not a machine. Control does not mean non-stop movement. It means knowing when to rest, and doing it on purpose. Step away to think. Give yourself time to breathe. Disconnect to reflect. Don't cram your schedule so tight that you lose your mind or your health. True control includes space to recharge. Rest is not a break from discipline, it is part of it. If you burn out, your time becomes worthless. Protect your energy if you want to protect your results. One of the most important shifts is to stop treating time as something outside of you. It is not just the clock on the wall, it is your attention, your energy, your presence. The better you manage those, the better you manage time. Be fully where you are. When you are working, work with intensity. When you are resting, rest completely. When you are with people, be truly present. Discipline means living without half effort. It means showing up fully, not halfway. You can't master your time if you keep postponing your life. Don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. Use the time you have right now. Start with 1 hour, use it well. Then do it again tomorrow. Progress does not come from a perfect plan. It comes from consistent action inside the time you already have. People who live with intention don't have more hours, they just use them with more clarity. Every decision you make is either building your future or postponing it. Each time you waste time, you train your mind to expect delay. Each time you take action, you train your mind to believe in discipline. These small choices shape your days, and your days shape your life. Control does not come all at once. It is built by stacking strong hours on top each other until eventually your entire life reflects the structure you created. You don't need a complex system. What you need is honesty and commitment. Be honest about where your time is going. Be committed to changing what doesn't serve you. Take it seriously. If your life feels out of control, don't blame circumstances. Look at your schedule. Look at your habits. Look at what you've allowed. Your time belongs to you. No one else can manage it for you. No one else will fight to protect it. That's your job. Discipline means claiming full ownership of your time and making it reflect your values. If you say something matters, prove it by giving it time. If you want to grow, give it daily effort. If you want peace, remove what causes chaos. You don't have to live rushed, scattered, or overwhelmed. You can choose to live with order, intention, and strength. But you must decide. No one drifts into control. You only gain it when you choose to take it. Everything changes when you realize that you are the one setting the pace. You can move faster, You can slow down, you can remove what drains you, and invest in what builds you. Your life is not shaped by chance. It's shaped by what you do with your time, hour by hour, day by day, choice by choice. You don't have to wait. You just have to begin. Own your time, and you will own your future. Chapter 4. Create a morning system that fuels your purpose. The way you begin your morning determines the pace, mindset, and energy of your entire day. If you start it without direction, you carry that lack of structure into everything else you do. If you begin with strength and clarity, you approach every task with more focus and confidence. A morning system is not about doing what sounds impressive. It's about creating a repeatable rhythm that supports your personal mission. When your first actions of the day are aligned with who you want to become, your life starts to reflect that decision without delay. You don't need to chase motivation when you've already built habits that move you forward. A powerful morning is built on consistency, not perfection. It doesn't matter if you're an early riser or if you wake up later than most. What matters is what you do with the time once you're up. Your body, your mind, and your goals need a signal that the day has started and that you are in charge. Discipline is the signal. It's not enough to simply wake up. You must rise with intention. You must choose your first steps before the world has a chance to pull you into chaos. A strong morning removes the need to decide what matters because you've already decided. Start by giving yourself time that is fully yours. Don't reach for your phone. Don't check the news. Don't scroll through distractions. Begin the day by reconnecting with what's important. Take a few moments in silence. Breathe deeply. Let your thoughts settle before you engage with the outside world. If your mind is rushed in the first 10 minutes of the day, you're likely to carry that anxious energy through every hour that follows. Build a habit of stillness first. Let it ground you before you act. Your next step should include something that activates your body. This doesn't need to be intense. It only needs to be intentional. Movement wakes your system up. It signals to your mind that you're ready to work, ready to focus, ready to engage. Stretch, walk, train, or do any form of physical activity that you can commit to consistently. It's not about building muscle or burning calories in the morning. It's about viewing momentum. You move your body to move your energy. Once your body is alert, shift your focus to your mind. This is the perfect time to remind yourself of your goals, your values, and your direction. Read something meaningful. Write down your thoughts. Reflect on what you want from the day ahead. Set a clear intention. This is your mental anchor. Without it, you move through the day, reacting to everything around you. With it, you lead yourself instead of being pulled by emotion or urgency. Your mind needs purpose just as much as your body needs movement. Structure your first hour in a way that removes confusion. Decide the night before what your first few tasks will be. Don't leave it to chance. Decision fatigue begins early, when you waste mental energy on minor choices. Discipline grows when you make strong decisions ahead of time. Choose your clothes, plan your breakfast, set your schedule. Treat yourself with the respect of preparation. That's not rigid, it's efficient. You are giving yourself the clarity to act without hesitation. If you have personal projects or deep work to do, the morning is a golden window. Your mind is fresh. Your environment is quiet. Use this time for the work that demands your best attention. Even 30 minutes of deep focus before the world wakes up can shift your entire life forward. You don't need endless hours, you need undistracted time. This is where many people waste the greatest opportunity. They give their best energy to scrolling, reacting, or rushing, instead of creating, thinking, building. Take control of that window and guard it with discipline. You also need to feed your body in a way that supports your energy. Don't begin the day on autopilot. Don't treat breakfast like a mindless habit. Be intentional with what you consume. Hydrate first. Fuel with what keeps you alert. Your food choices are part of your system. If your morning routine leaves you sluggish or hungry within the first hour, adjust it. Discipline includes paying attention to how your body responds to what you give it. You're not just building routines, you're building strength and awareness at every level. Many people complain about feeling lost or unmotivated. The truth is often simpler. They haven't built a structure that supports clarity. When your morning is consistent, your goals feel closer. When your habits are strong, your decisions get easier. When your body and mind are both activated early, you carry that strength into every challenge you face. A system doesn't have to be complicated. It only needs to be honest, sustainable, and aligned with your mission. One mistake people make is trying to copy someone else's morning, but discipline is personal. What works for someone else might not serve you. Your job is not to impress. It is to be consistent. Start small. Start with what you can do daily. Add one habit at a time. Build a rhythm that fits your life and strengthens your focus. The point is not to do more. It is to do what matters, and to do it with full commitment. You must also protect your mornings from everything that tries to steal them. That means going to bed at a reasonable time. That means not staying up just to watch one more thing, or answer one more message. If you want your mornings to have power, you must give your nights discipline. Sleep is part of your system. Recovery is part of your growth. Don't trade a sharp mind tomorrow for a few extra minutes of comfort tonight. That trade is never worth it in the long run. If your mornings currently feel rushed or meaningless, don't wait for the perfect moment to change them. Start now. Wake up 30 minutes earlier and use that time with purpose. Give it your full attention. Be present. Show yourself what it feels like to begin the day with control. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be consistent. One strong morning can change your mood. 10 strong mornings can change your habits. 100 strong mornings can reshape your entire life. The goal of a morning system is not to check off boxes. It is to prepare you for the life you want to live. Every habit you practice, every thought you direct, and every choice you make first thing in the day either moves you closer or further from that life. When you create a system that works, you stop stumbling into your day. You step into them with direction, strength, and purpose. You are no longer reacting to life. You are building it from the ground up, beginning with the first moment you rise. There is nothing special about early hours unless you decide to use them with intention. Don't romanticize discipline. Practice it. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just begin. Every morning is a new chance to prove who you are becoming. Use it. Own it. Build a system that fuels your purpose, and you will never walk into a day unprepared again. This is how discipline begins to shape not just your schedule but your identity. This is how you begin to lead your own life, starting from the moment you open your eyes. Chapter 5. Follow through on what you say you will do. What you say means nothing until you prove it with action. Promises without follow-through weaken your self-respect and damage your reputation, even when no one else sees it. When you say you'll do something and then you don't, it doesn't just affect the task, it affects your identity. You begin to trust yourself less. You start to question your own words. That quiet voice in your head starts to doubt. But when you keep your word, even in the smallest ways, you build a sense of inner strength that no one can take from you. Following through is not about the size of the task, it's about the honesty of your commitment. People admire consistency more than grand ideas. The world is full of people who talk about goals, plans, visions, and dreams, but few have the discipline to stick with what they said they'd do when it gets hard, boring, or inconvenient. Excitement is easy. Execution is rare. Real strength is revealed when the initial energy fades, and the only thing keeping you going is your decision to honor your word. Discipline lives in the moment you choose to act, even though the feeling is gone. If you want to develop true personal power, stop making empty commitments. Stop saying yes to things just to sound motivated. Every time you say you're going to do something, treat it like a contract. Even if it's just with yourself. Especially if it's just with yourself. The promises you make to others matter, but the ones you make to yourself shape your confidence. When you constantly delay, avoid, or quit, you teach yourself that your word has no value. And without trust in yourself, discipline cannot exist. Following through starts with clarity. Before you commit to anything, ask yourself if you're willing to carry it through to the end. Don't let emotion decide. Don't make promises just because the moment feels exciting. Step back, think clearly, and decide if the task aligns with your values, time, and energy. Discipline is not just doing everything you say, it's also being wise about what you commit to. Choose carefully, and then follow through completely. One of the best habits you can build is finishing what you start. If you open a task, close it. If you begin a process, take it to completion. Even if it feels tedious. Even if no one notices. Even if it's not perfect. The point is not to impress anyone. The point is to build strength in your word. Each time you finish what you start, you're telling yourself that your intentions matter. That you don't quit when it gets uncomfortable. That you don't need someone else pushing you to take action. You take responsibility without being asked. This isn't about hustle, it's about integrity. It's about aligning your words and your actions. That alignment is the foundation of every strong leader, every respected individual, every disciplined human being. When your actions match your words, you stand on solid ground. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to prove anything. People see your strength by how you live, not by what you say. That's the kind of respect that lasts. It's common to start strong and lose momentum. Maybe the goal feels too big. Maybe the results don't come fast enough. Maybe you get distracted or discouraged. But those moments are where your discipline is tested. The people who rise above average aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who show up again and again, even after failure or doubt. Following through is not about flawless performance. It's about relentless return. It's about returning to your goal, to your task, to your purpose, no matter how you feel. A powerful way to build this habit is to reduce the size of your commitment, but increase the consistency. Instead of saying you'll write for 2 hours, commit to 10 minutes every day without fail. Instead of vowing to overhaul your diet, commit to eating one healthy meal each day. Build small wins. Keep small promises. Over time, these small actions build undeniable momentum. You learn that your words lead to action. And the more often that happens, the more unstoppable you become. Another key principle is doing what you said you would do, even when it no longer feels exciting. Feelings are temporary. They rise and fall with sleep, emotions, weather, stress, and countless other variables. If you let feelings decide your behavior, you'll never stay consistent. Discipline means acting on your decisions, not on your moods. If you said you'd do something today, then do it today, not because it feels good, but because it's what you chose. That level of consistency builds a quiet, unshakable power inside you. Excuses are always available. The mind will always come up with reasons to delay, to wait, to do it later. But each time you give in to those reasons, you make it easier to do it again and again. Eventually, quitting becomes normal. Avoiding becomes your default. But the opposite is also true. Every time you push through an excuse, you weaken its power. Every time you act anyway, You prove to yourself that discipline is stronger than doubt. That's how character is built. Following through also changes how others see you. People begin to take your word seriously. They know that if you say it, you mean it. They know you won't flake, delay, or disappear. That trust opens doors. That reliability creates opportunity. But more importantly, it creates peace within yourself. You're no longer torn between what you say and what you do. You're aligned. You can look in the mirror and know that your behavior reflects your beliefs. This isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about being honest. No one is perfect. You will miss things. You will fail sometimes. But the key is to return to action quickly. Don't let one mistake turn into a pattern. Don't let one missed task turn into a week of delay. Discipline is built in the response. Own the failure, correct it, and move forward. The standard you hold yourself to will define your future more than any talent or resource. You don't need to be the smartest, fastest, or most talented. You just need to be someone who does what they say. That reliability will take you further than almost anything else. People who follow through stand out. They rise because they're consistent. They're not looking for shortcuts. They're not pretending. They're building something real day by day, task by task, promise by promise. This is the path of the disciplined. The world is full of noise, full of people who talk, plan, and share ideas they never act on. Don't join them. Be the one who acts. Be the one who honors commitment. Be the one who builds their life on action, not intention. That mindset is rare. That mindset is powerful. It's not about being perfect. It's about being dependable. You want results? Start keeping your word. Start finishing what you begin. Start becoming the kind of person who doesn't need reminders, praise, or pressure. Just a clear goal and a decision to see it through. You have the ability to be that person. It doesn't take anything outside of you. It just takes one choice repeated over and over again. Say what you mean. Do what you say. Finish what you start. That's the blueprint. That's how you become disciplined. That's how you earn your own respect. Nothing changes until you act, and nothing grows unless you keep acting. That's the real difference. Not talking, doing, and doing it until the job is done. Every time, no matter what. Chapter 6. Say no to anything that breaks your momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces you can build in your life. When you have it, everything feels possible. You move with clarity, your actions align, and progress becomes natural. But momentum is fragile. It takes effort to build and only a omen to break. If you're not careful, you'll give your energy to things that slow you down or pull you in the wrong direction. Discipline means guarding that momentum like it matters, because it does. Every yes you give has a cost. And if you keep saying yes to things that don't serve your path, you'll keep breaking the very rhythm you need to succeed. Saying no is not about being harsh or cold. It's about being honest with yourself and committed to what you're building. Every time you agree to something that doesn't align with your goals, you're pulling energy away from what matters. You're scattering your focus and weakening your direction. You cannot create strong results while being pulled in 100 weak directions. You must choose. You must protect your time, your energy, your attention. The more momentum you have, the more tempting distractions will come. Not everything that looks interesting deserves your involvement. Not everything that feels urgent is truly important. There will always be people, tasks, and ideas that want your attention. They'll come wrapped in good intentions, friendly faces, and even opportunities that seem hard to turn down. But if you say yes without thinking, you'll slowly dilute your power. A strong no is not rejection, it's preservation. It's choosing depth over noise. It's deciding to stay consistent instead of constantly restarting. Your future depends more on what you say no to than what you say yes to. Because only by protecting your focus can you keep your momentum alive long enough to make something real. Momentum isn't created by intensity alone, it's built by consistency. It's what happens when small, focused actions stack day after day without interruption. But most people don't lose momentum because they're lazy. They lose it because they allow their attention to be hijacked by things that don't matter. A sudden change of plans, a pointless argument, an unnecessary obligation. Each one might seem harmless alone, but together they pull you off course. And when you're off course, even for a day, it takes energy to regain direction. That wasted energy could have moved you forward. Instead, it's spent repairing the damage. You need boundaries, not just with people but with yourself. You need to know what breaks your rhythm and commit to avoiding it. Maybe it's checking your phone during deep work. Maybe it's saying yes to last-minute events that destroy your schedule. Maybe it's letting guilt drive your decisions instead of discipline. Whatever it is, identify it. Be honest. Build your boundaries and hold them firm. You are not weak for saying no. You are strong for protecting your mission. Don't let people make you feel guilty for choosing your path. You are not here to please everyone. You are here to fulfill your purpose. And purpose requires focus. Momentum requires repetition. You cannot keep stopping to explain yourself or accommodate every request. If something doesn't support your direction, it's okay to decline. You're not being rude, you're being disciplined. You are building something that requires all of you, not just what's left over after everyone else has taken their share.
It helps to remember that most of the things we say yes to are not chosen with clarity. They're chosen out of fear, pressure, or discomfort. You agree because you don't want to disappoint someone. You agree because it's easier than setting a boundary. But every time you do, you delay your own progress. That trade-off may not hurt in the moment, but over time, it steals your momentum. You need to respect yourself enough to protect your time from anything that threatens your pace. To say no effectively, you must know what you're saying yes to. You must have a clear purpose. You must know your direction. Without that clarity, every distraction looks tempting. Every request sounds reasonable. But once your purpose is clear, the decisions get easier. You begin to see what fits and what doesn't. You start filtering your choices through the lens of your goal. That's how momentum is preserved. Not through random effort, but through deliberate focus. Some people won't understand. They'll ask why you've changed. They'll wonder why you're not as available. But you're not doing this to gain approval. You're doing this because your life is worth building with intention. You're not living on repeat. You're moving forward. And if people truly respect you, they will learn to respect your no. They will see that you are serious, that you are not someone who floats through life, that you are someone who acts with discipline and moves with purpose. The danger of losing momentum isn't just about slowing down. It's about forgetting what you were building in the first place. Distractions blur your vision. They cloud your intention. They create false urgency that makes you chase the wrong things. And then when the noise clears, you find yourself back at the starting line. Don't let that be your pattern. Discipline means learning how to hold your focus even when life tries to pull you in other directions. It means remembering that progress takes time, and every interruption has a cost. You don't need to explain every no. You don't need to justify every decision. You only need to be clear with yourself. Ask yourself with every request, does this move me forward or pull me away? Is this aligned with my path or does it drain my energy? Will this help me build or will it break my momentum? If the answer isn't clear, the answer is probably no. Trust your instinct. Trust your mission. Trust the discipline you're developing. The real reason most people never reach their goals is not because they aren't capable. It's because they never protect their progress long enough to see results. They keep starting over. They keep letting distractions steal their fire. They keep letting noise drown their discipline. But you don't have to live like that. You can choose to protect your momentum. You can choose to say no to what doesn't serve you. You can choose to honor your focus as the most valuable thing you have. Every time you say no to something meaningless, you say yes to something meaningful. Every time you protect your energy, you multiply your strength. Every time you stay on track, you build speed, clarity, and confidence. And that confidence carries you through harder days. That clarity keeps you from chasing the wrong things. That momentum turns effort into results. But it all starts with your decision to protect what matters and reject what doesn't. The more you say no, the stronger you become. Not because you're avoiding life, but because you're choosing it. You are choosing to live deliberately. You are choosing to build something that lasts. You are choosing discipline over comfort, clarity over chaos, and strength over distraction. That's what it takes to grow. That's what it takes to win. That's what it means to respect your own momentum. Say no often. Say no clearly. Say no with conviction, because your future depends on it.
Chapter 7. Track your habits and improve them every week. What you do every day builds who you become. No breakthrough, no transformation, no lasting growth ever happens without consistent habits backing it up. You may have great ideas and big goals, but if your daily actions aren't aligned, you'll stay stuck where you are. That's why the discipline to track your habits and improve them every single week is not optional, it's essential. It's not about perfection, it's about paying attention, because what you track you can change, and what you improve you can control. Most people don't realize how much of their life is shaped by patterns they don't even notice, from how they wake up, to how they handle stress, to how they eat, work, and sleep. Their days are built on unconscious routines, and if those routines are sloppy, so is their progress. You can't expect results from behavior you don't even recognize. That's why the first step to growth is awareness. You need to know what you're actually doing, not just what you think you're doing. And the only way to know that is to track it. Tracking your habits is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, you see the details. You see the truth. You start to notice what helps you and what holds you back. You stop guessing and start understanding. Even simple habits like water intake, screen time, focus hours, or exercise become powerful when you start recording them. You're no longer acting randomly. You're collecting information about your own behavior, and that data becomes the foundation of your discipline. It doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need a perfect system. You only need a notebook, an app, or even a calendar where you can see your habits daily. Choose a few key behaviors that matter most to your growth. Write them down. Set a goal for how often you want to complete them each week. Then check them off. Be honest. Don't track to impress yourself. Track to hold yourself accountable. Discipline thrives in clarity. When you can see your consistency, or your lack of it, you're more likely to stay committed. What you track will also begin to shape your identity. When you consistently check off a habit, you start to see yourself as the kind of person who follows through. That self-image fuels stronger action. You're no longer trying to become disciplined. You already are. Every checkmark is a vote for the person you're becoming. And even when you miss a day, the habit of tracking keeps you from drifting. It pulls you back into awareness. That's what prevents long stretches of inconsistency. That's what keeps you honest when motivation fades. But tracking isn't just about counting. It's about learning. Each week, you need to review what worked and what didn't. This reflection is where real growth begins. If you crushed your habits for 5 days but lost focus on the weekend, don't ignore it. Ask why. Was it lack of planning? Was it poor sleep? Was it too many distractions? The more honest you are, the faster you grow. You don't need to beat yourself up. You only need to understand, because once you understand, you can adjust. Improving your habits weekly doesn't mean overhauling everything at once. It means making small, smart changes that stick. Maybe you realize that doing your workout in the morning gives you more energy. Maybe you see that checking your phone first thing throws off your focus. Maybe you notice that writing your goals down every night keeps you disciplined the next day. These are simple discoveries, but they only come from reflection, and reflection only comes when you're willing to track and review consistently. Progress isn't built on giant leaps. It's built on small corrections made repeatedly over time, and every week gives you a fresh chance to adjust. Discipline isn't about staying rigid, it's about learning what works and doing more of it. If a habit isn't serving you, change it. If a new habit adds value, keep it. This is how high performers grow. Not by staying the same, but by paying attention and refining constantly. That's what separates people who talk about growth from those who actually live it. You also build trust with yourself through this process. When you track and improve your habits, you prove to yourself that you're serious. You're no longer hoping to improve, you're taking control of the process. That kind of self-leadership builds confidence. You don't feel lost because you have a system. You don't feel stuck because you're taking action. And that confidence carries into every part of your life. You walk differently when you know your habits are aligned with your goals. Sometimes you'll fall short. Sometimes you'll miss the mark. That's not failure. That's feedback. If you track your habits for a week and realize you only followed through on 3 days, that's information. Use it. Don't ignore it. Ask what needs to change. Maybe the habit was too big. Maybe your schedule was off. Maybe your priorities were unclear. The point is not to be perfect. The point is to keep improving. Every time you reflect and adjust, you're getting better. That's what builds long-term success. It's also important to keep your system simple. Overcomplicating it leads to burnout. Choose a few core habits that really move the needle in your life and focus on those. Discipline is not about doing everything. It's about doing what matters most with consistency. Track what counts. Review regularly. Adjust as needed. That rhythm alone can change your life in ways you never imagined. Because once your habits change, everything changes. Your mood, your results, your energy, your confidence, they all follow the direction of your behavior. The habit of tracking also keeps you from lying to yourself. It's easy to say you're doing your best. It's easy to believe you're consistent, but the numbers don't lie. When you see 5 empty boxes where your habits should be, you're forced to face the truth. And that truth, while uncomfortable, is what sets you free. You can't grow without honesty, and you can't be honest without measurement. Discipline means facing the facts, not hiding from them. You will also begin to value your time more when you track your habits. You'll stop wasting hours on things that don't contribute to your mission. You'll feel a stronger sense of responsibility. You'll start making decisions based on alignment instead of impulse, and those decisions will build momentum. One strong week leads to another. One powerful month leads to transformation. But it starts with the courage to track. It starts with the humility to reflect. It starts with the discipline to improve. There's no magic system. There's no perfect method. What matters is your commitment to track, review, and refine your habits week after week. This is how you build a life of purpose. This is how you stop drifting and start directing your energy. Your habits are not just tasks. They are signals of who you are becoming. And when you choose to shape them with intention, you begin to shape your future. That's the power of discipline. That's the reward of consistency. That's the result of a simple decision to pay attention to what you do and make it better every single week. Chapter 8. Delay pleasure until your work is fully done. The ability to delay pleasure until your work is fully done is a form of discipline that separates those who progress from those who stay stuck. It's not about living without joy or punishing yourself. It's about learning how to earn your moments of rest. When you delay immediate gratification, you train your mind to value long-term results over short-term comfort. This habit creates mental strength that few people have because most are ruled by impulses. They seek escape the moment. Effort feels uncomfortable, but real progress demands the opposite. You must learn to stay in the work until it's complete. You must delay the reward until the task is finished, and in doing so, you rewire your entire mindset around responsibility and focus. Modern life offers instant distractions everywhere. At any moment, you can check a screen, open a browser, scroll through someone else's life, or consume entertainment. These things aren't bad by themselves, but they become dangerous when used as a way to avoid your priorities. When you allow yourself to be pulled into comfort before earning it, you create a loop of avoidance. You get stuck in a pattern of postponing effort and chasing escape, but there is no fulfillment in running from what matters. It only creates guilt, stress, and unfinished goals that continue to weigh you down. True confidence is built when you know you can delay comfort until your responsibility is met. Every time you resist the urge to check out early and instead push through the discomfort to finish your work, you build trust with yourself. You start to see yourself as someone who gets things done. That internal belief becomes part of your identity. You're no longer the kind of person who needs to be pushed. You're someone who holds the line. That self-respect is earned, not given. And it starts by choosing discipline over escape. When you delay pleasure, you also make it more meaningful. A break after deep effort feels different than one taken out of boredom or habit. The rest feels earned. It becomes a reward instead of a routine. Your mind associates pleasure with achievement instead of avoidance. Over time, this rewires your motivation. You begin to crave the feeling of finishing, not just the comfort of distraction. That shift is powerful. It keeps you grounded when work gets hard. It gives you something real to look forward to. And most of all, it keeps you in control of your time and energy. It's easy to lie to yourself and say, just for a few minutes, when a distraction appears. You tell yourself you'll get back to work soon, but those minutes multiply. A few minutes of scrolling turns into an hour. A short break turns into a forgotten task. The day slips away, and with it, your momentum. The problem isn't the distraction, it's the timing. Rest is not the enemy, but rest that replaces effort becomes a habit of weakness. The work must come first. Always. That's how you build integrity in your action. You don't need extreme rules or punishment. You need honest structure. Set clear boundaries for yourself. Work first, then reward. Keep it simple and firm. If you said you'd write for 1 hour, don't open your phone until that hour is done. If you plan to clean, finish the entire space before turning on the television. When the work is done, enjoy your rest with a clear mind. Until then, stay present in the effort. The ability to delay pleasure becomes easier the more you practice it, and every time you choose it, you become stronger. Delayed pleasure also increases your ability to focus. When you train your brain not to seek constant stimulation, it learns to stay with one thing for longer. Your concentration deepens, your creativity sharpens, your ability to enter flow states increases, and you become someone who actually finishes what they start. Most people have dozens of half-finished goals because they quit when it got boring. They escape the moment things stopped being exciting. But discipline grows when you stay in the work even when it feels dull. The finish line matters more than the feeling. There's also a sense of dignity in finishing before relaxing. You don't owe yourself ease at the beginning of the day. You earn it by facing what matters, whether it's physical training, difficult conversations, creative work, or daily obligations. You gain nothing by delaying them in favor of empty pleasure. Face the work early, finish what needs to be done, then step into your rest with peace, not guilt. You'll sleep better knowing your day was lived with purpose. You will be tempted often to check out early. You'll want to click away, pause the hard thing, delay the effort, and reward yourself too soon. This is where most people lose. The temptation isn't a sign of failure, it's a test, and the way you respond to that test defines how fast you grow. The discipline to stay until the end of your task is what builds the life you want. Every shortcut you take delays that life. Every excuse you make pushes it further away. But every time you delay comfort and do the work, you move closer. Make this a rule in your life. No reward until the work is done. Not as punishment, but as protection. You are protecting your goals. You are protecting your momentum. You are protecting the identity you're building as someone who finishes strong. Over time, this becomes second nature. You stop needing motivation because your routine is clear. Work first. Always. You no longer need to ask what to do next. The structure is built into your day. This mindset also carries into your larger goals. If you want to save money, you must delay impulse purchases. If you want to build a business, you must delay weekends full of distraction. If you want to get fit, you must delay junk food until after consistent training. In every area of growth, the principle is the same. Reward is sweeter when it follows discipline. Results are only visible when patience replaces urgency. The moment you embrace this, you begin to unlock long-term growth. You also gain time. When you stop jumping into distractions prematurely, you find hours you didn't know you had. You start finishing faster. You complete more in less time. And the rest you take becomes deeper, more satisfying, and completely free of guilt. You no longer carry the weight of what you ignored. You rest with a clear heart because your effort was real. That is a kind of peace that few people ever feel. Everything in your environment will try to push you toward easy pleasure. Notifications, entertainment, endless options. It's all there, ready to pull you off track. But your job is not to follow those signals. Your job is to lead yourself. You must be the one who decides when it's time to rest. You must be the one who chooses discomfort now so you can grow into the person you want to be later. That is what separates average from excellent. That is what defines discipline. In a world built on instant rewards, you will stand out by waiting. You will become rare by staying focused. You will gain what others lose by choosing effort over ease. This is how you train your mind. This is how you reshape your habits. This is how you build a life that's strong from the inside out. Delay the pleasure. Finish the work. Do it every day until it becomes automatic. That's the path. That's the power. And it's yours if you choose it. Chapter 9. Push through discomfort when you want to quit. Discomfort is a natural part of any worthwhile journey. It's the signal that you're moving beyond your current limits and into new territory. When your mind screams for relief and your body feels the weight of effort, that's when most people give up. But those moments are the true test of your discipline. They are the moments that define whether you succeed or fail. Pushing through discomfort is not about ignoring pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about choosing to keep going despite the difficulty. It's about refusing to quit when quitting feels easiest. The desire to quit is often loud and convincing. It disguises itself as reason, logic, or even self-care. But more often than not, it's just fear or laziness in disguise. Your mind wants comfort. It wants certainty. It wants to avoid risk and pain. But growth demands risk and pain. The difference between those who achieve and those who don't is the ability to sit with discomfort without giving in. It's a muscle you build over time, and every time you push through, it gets stronger. Discomfort comes in many forms: physical fatigue, mental exhaustion, boredom, frustration, self-doubt, and fear. Each form tries to convince you that quitting is the best option. But every time you push through, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your feelings. You remind yourself that pain is temporary but regret is permanent. You replace weakness with resilience, hesitation with courage, and doubt with conviction. This shift in mindset is crucial because it turns discomfort from an obstacle into a tool for growth. When you feel like quitting, the first step is to acknowledge the feeling without judgment. Don't fight the discomfort by suppressing it or distracting yourself. Recognize it. Sit with it. Understand that it's part of the process. Then remind yourself why you started. Recall the vision, the purpose, the goal that matters more than temporary ease. That purpose becomes your anchor. It's the reason you push past the urge to quit. It's what keeps you moving forward when the path gets tough. Breaking big tasks into smaller steps can also help you manage discomfort. Instead of focusing on the overwhelming whole, focus on the next actionable step. Taking one small step often reduces the pressure and keeps you moving. Momentum built from small wins makes the discomfort easier to bear. Each step forward is proof that you can handle more than you think. It's a reminder that quitting is not your only choice. It's important to build a strong why for your efforts. When the discomfort feels unbearable, your reason for continuing must be stronger. That why might be your family, your dreams, your integrity, or your future self. Whatever it is, make it vivid and personal. Write it down. Repeat it daily. Let it fuel your determination when the going gets tough. Without a strong why, the temptation to quit will always win. With a strong why, you become unstoppable. Another powerful strategy is to develop mental toughness through routine exposure to discomfort. Challenge yourself regularly to do things that feel difficult or uncomfortable, whether it's cold showers, intense workouts, public speaking, or working longer hours. These experiences teach your mind that discomfort is manageable. The more you practice, the less power discomfort has to derail you. This conditioning makes it easier to push through when it counts. Support systems matter, but discipline is personal. Surround yourself with people who encourage perseverance and understand the value of pushing through. Share your goals and struggles with those who hold you accountable. But remember that the ultimate choice to keep going comes from within. No one can force you to endure discomfort. Only you can decide that your goals are worth the struggle. Celebrate your resilience. Every time you push through discomfort, you are building a foundation of strength. Reflect on those moments and honor your effort. Use them as reminders of your capability. This positive reinforcement encourages you to keep facing challenges instead of avoiding them. Over time, you will notice a pattern. Discomfort no longer signals defeat, but signals growth. Discomfort will always exist in some form. It's not a problem to solve, but a reality to accept. The question is whether you will let it stop you or propel you forward. Those who succeed are not free from pain. They simply refuse to quit because of it. They choose growth over ease, purpose over pleasure, courage over comfort. This mindset becomes a defining feature of their character and success. You will face moments when quitting seems easier, when the pain feels overwhelming, and when doubt creeps in. Those moments are inevitable. What matters is your response. Choose to breathe deeply, focus on your why, break the task down and take the next step. One step becomes two, two becomes three, and soon you are moving past the discomfort into progress. Discomfort is temporary. The results of pushing through last a lifetime. By embracing discomfort instead of running from it, you transform challenges into opportunities. You develop confidence that can't be shaken by setbacks or obstacles. You build discipline that sustains you through future struggles, and you create a life defined by resilience and growth. Keep in mind that discomfort often precedes success. The hardest parts of any journey are the turning points. If you stop before these points, you lose the chance to transform. If you push through, you break through barriers and enter new levels of achievement. This is the difference between those who dream and those who do. Develop a personal mantra or phrase that reminds you of your strength when you want to quit. Repeat it quietly or aloud. Use it to refocus your mind and calm your fears. Train your brain to recognize that discomfort is not a signal to stop, but a call to act. This mental habit shifts your relationship with pain and difficulty. Ultimately, pushing through discomfort is about mastering yourself. It's about controlling your actions when your feelings resist. It's about showing up for your commitments, no matter what. This level of discipline creates freedom. The freedom to choose progress over procrastination, growth over stagnation, and courage over fear. Every time you refuse to quit, you add to your strength bank. Over time, that strength becomes a reserve you can draw on during future struggles. You build a mindset that no challenge can easily break. This mental fortitude becomes your most valuable asset. Remember that pushing through discomfort is not a one-time act, but a habit. It's a daily decision to keep moving forward even when you don't want to. Each day you choose this path, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, committed, and strong. This belief changes everything. The power to keep going when quitting feels easiest lies within you. It's a choice that only you can make. Make that choice consistently, and you build a life of discipline, resilience, and success. You will discover that discomfort is not your enemy, but your greatest teacher. It shows you what you're made of and how far you can go. Embrace discomfort and let it push you to heights you never thought possible. Chapter 10. Train your mind to act without overthinking. The mind has a natural tendency to overthink, to analyze every detail, and to hesitate before taking action. This tendency can become a trap that keeps you stuck in indecision and fear. Learning to train your mind to act without overthinking is essential for developing discipline and moving forward with confidence. It doesn't mean acting recklessly or without thought, but rather learning to trust your instincts and break free from paralysis caused by excessive rumination. Acting decisively allows you to build momentum and see real progress, while overthinking leads to wasted time and missed opportunities. Overthinking often comes from a desire to avoid failure or make the perfect decision, but perfection is an illusion that never arrives. Waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan often leads to no action at all. This cycle breeds frustration and regret. The truth is that progress requires imperfect action. The path to success is made up of decisions made with less information than you want, but made nonetheless. You must become comfortable with uncertainty and learn to act despite it. One effective way to train your mind to act without overthinking is to set clear priorities and deadlines for your decisions. When you have a deadline, you force yourself to stop weighing every possible outcome and take the best possible action in the moment. This limitation creates focus and urgency. It narrows your options and reduces the mental noise that leads to overthinking. Setting priorities helps you decide what truly matters so that your decisions align with your goals, eliminating distractions that cause hesitation. Another practical strategy is to adopt the mindset that any action is better than no action. Even if you make a mistake or choose a less than ideal path, you can always adjust and learn along the way. Taking action generates feedback and new information that you cannot get from thinking alone. The experience gained from moving forward provides clarity and confidence. In contrast, overthinking keeps you in the realm of theory and uncertainty, leaving you frozen and powerless. Training your mind to act quickly also requires managing your emotions. Fear, doubt, and anxiety are common triggers that fuel overthinking. Recognizing these emotions and naming them reduces their power over your decisions. Instead of allowing fear to stop you, acknowledge it and decide to act anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of. Repeatedly practicing this response builds mental resilience and trains your brain to move through hesitation faster. Building routines around decision-making helps automate action. When you have habits that guide your choices, you don't waste time or energy questioning every step. For example, having a morning routine or a clear work process removes decision fatigue and encourages automatic progress. The less you need to think about what to do next, the less room there is for overthinking. Structure creates freedom because it frees your mind from constant analysis. It's important to recognize that some thinking is necessary and valuable. Planning, learning, and reflection all require mental effort. The key is to know when thinking has served its purpose and when it becomes a barrier. Setting limits on how long you will spend analyzing a problem can help. Commit to a time frame for thinking and then move to action. If new information emerges, adjust your approach, but don't let the fear of making a mistake trap you in endless deliberation. Visualization can also aid decisive action. Imagine yourself completing a task or making a decision confidently and successfully. Visualizing positive outcomes helps reduce anxiety and builds mental readiness. It prepares your brain to act by creating a mental rehearsal of success. This practice makes it easier to trust yourself and avoid second-guessing when the moment to act arrives. Seeking feedback from trusted mentors or peers can provide perspective and reduce overthinking. Sometimes your mind gets stuck in a loop of doubt that others can help break. Sharing your thoughts and decisions out loud can clarify your intentions and expose unnecessary worries. Outside input can also validate your approach and build confidence to move forward. Learning to trust your intuition is crucial. Your subconscious mind absorbs information and patterns that your conscious mind may not fully process. Intuition is the ability to tap into this deeper awareness to make quick decisions. Developing this skill involves paying attention to your gut feelings and learning when they have been right. Over time, trusting your instincts becomes easier, reducing the need to overanalyze every choice. Taking small, consistent steps trains your mind to act automatically. When you commit to starting with manageable tasks, you build a habit of movement. This habit breaks the cycle of overthinking by creating momentum. Each completed action increases your confidence and reduces hesitation. Momentum is the antidote to paralysis. It moves you forward even when your mind wants to stop. You must also confront the fear of failure head-on. Overthinking often hides behind this fear, creating endless what-if scenarios. Accept that failure is part of growth and not a reflection of your worth. Failure provides valuable lessons and strengthens your discipline. When you reframe failure as feedback rather than defeat, it becomes easier to act decisively. Discipline itself is built on action, not thought. Thinking prepares, but action creates results. The more you act without hesitation, the more discipline you develop. This cycle builds strength and confidence that reinforce one another. The key is to start, no matter how small, and build from there. Action is the bridge that connects your goals to your reality. Avoid waiting for motivation to act. Motivation is unpredictable and unreliable. Relying on motivation often leads to procrastination and overthinking. Discipline means acting regardless of how you feel. Developing routines and clear plans supports this consistency. When your mind is trained to act on schedule and intention, motivation becomes a bonus, not a requirement. Celebrate your progress every time you act decisively. Recognize the power in moving forward and the courage it takes to overcome hesitation. These celebrations reinforce positive habits and encourage repeated action. Positive reinforcement rewires your brain to seek action instead of delay. Remember that every successful person has struggled with overthinking at some point. What sets them apart is their ability to break the cycle and act. They learn from mistakes, adjust quickly, and keep moving. You can do the same by training your mind to recognize when it's stuck and choosing to move anyway. Ultimately, training your mind to act without overthinking is about reclaiming your power. It's about choosing progress over paralysis and courage over doubt. When you master this skill, you unlock the ability to create meaningful change in every area of your life. You become someone who leads rather than hesitates, who builds rather than dreams, who acts rather than waits. This transformation is available to anyone willing to practice. Start by setting clear priorities. limiting analysis time, trusting your intuition, and taking consistent steps. Build routines that support automatic action and develop the courage to face discomfort. Over time, your mind will shift from overthinking to decisive doing. This change is the foundation of discipline and the key to mastering yourself and your future. Chapter 11. Cut out excuses and take full responsibility. Taking full responsibility is the cornerstone of discipline and personal growth. When you stop making excuses, you reclaim control over your life. Excuses are the mind's way of avoiding discomfort, failure, and accountability. They offer temporary relief, but create long-term stagnation. Excuses remove power from your hands and hand it over to external factors or circumstances. To master discipline, you must eliminate excuses and own every choice and outcome in your life. This shift is not easy, but it is necessary for transformation. Excuses disguise themselves in many forms. You might blame your environment, your past, other people, your lack of resources, or even bad luck. The common thread is that they all place responsibility outside yourself. This mindset creates a victim mentality that keeps you stuck. It erodes confidence because you rely on conditions beyond your control. True power comes from recognizing that, regardless of circumstances, your response is always your responsibility. Cutting out excuses begins with brutal honesty. You must face your actions and decisions without filtering or self-justification. This means asking difficult questions. Did I do everything I could? Did I prioritize effectively? Did I make consistent effort? Answering these questions truthfully is uncomfortable but liberating. It moves you from denial to ownership. It empowers you to change because you can no longer blame outside forces. Taking responsibility means accepting the consequences of your actions, both good and bad. It means celebrating your successes and learning from your failures without shifting blame. When you own your results, you create a clear path for improvement. You see where you can do better and where you are already strong. This clarity is the foundation of growth. Without it, you wander aimlessly or repeat mistakes. Excuses often stem from fear of failure, rejection, or change. Recognizing this fear and choosing to act despite it builds courage. Courage grows when you face your fears head-on and refuse to let them dictate your behavior. Every time you reject an excuse, you strengthen your mental toughness. You teach your mind that challenges are opportunities, not barriers. Eliminating excuses also involves changing your language. The words you use shape your thoughts and beliefs. Replace phrases like "I can't," "I don't have time," or "it's not my fault" with statements like "I choose to," "I will make time," and "I am responsible." This shift in language rewires your brain for ownership and action. It changes your internal narrative from powerless to empowered. Accountability partners or mentors can support your journey to cut out excuses. Sharing your goals and progress with someone who holds you accountable increases commitment. They help you see where you might be rationalizing or avoiding responsibility. External accountability reinforces internal discipline and makes excuses harder to hide behind. Taking full responsibility also means managing your emotions maturely. It's easy to react with anger or frustration when things go wrong, but emotional reactions often lead to blame. Instead, cultivate a mindset of calm acceptance. Acknowledge your feelings without letting them control your actions. This emotional regulation supports clear thinking and consistent behavior. Practice replacing excuses with solutions. When faced with obstacles, ask yourself, what can I do right now to move forward? This solution-focused mindset shifts your energy from complaint to creation. It opens new possibilities and fosters resilience. You become someone who finds ways rather than reasons why something can't be done. Remember that responsibility is not about perfection. Taking ownership doesn't mean you never fail or make mistakes. It means you don't run from them. You confront them honestly and learn. This growth mindset is essential for discipline. It keeps you moving forward even when progress is slow or difficult. Cutting out excuses frees up mental space and energy. Excuses consume time and focus that could be better spent on action and improvement. When you stop making excuses, you create clarity. Your goals become clearer, and your path forward becomes obvious. This clarity fuels motivation and discipline. You will face resistance when you commit to full responsibility. Your mind will try to find reasons to slip back into old habits. This resistance is normal. It's part of the process. Recognize it as a signal that you're growing and pushing boundaries. Keep returning to your commitment and the vision of who you want to be. Make responsibility a daily practice. Start each day by reminding yourself that you own your choices. Reflect at night on how well you lived that commitment. Identify where excuses crept in and plan how to respond differently next time. This constant awareness strengthens your discipline muscle. By cutting out excuses and taking full responsibility, you transform from a passive observer of your life into an active creator. You gain control over your results and build confidence in your ability to overcome challenges. This shift leads to greater freedom, purpose, and success. In summary, discipline begins with owning everything in your life: your actions, your thoughts, your failures, and your successes. Excuses only limit you. Responsibility empowers you. Choosing responsibility is the first step toward mastering yourself and your future. When you embrace this truth, you unlock the potential to become the person you aspire to be. Chapter 12. Show up strong, even when you feel weak. Showing up strong when you feel weak is one of the most challenging but transformative acts of discipline. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready or perfect before throwing obstacles your way. The truth is, you will often encounter moments of exhaustion, doubt, and low energy. These moments don't disqualify you from progress or success. In fact, they define the true test of your character. Choosing to show up, to put in effort, despite feeling weak, builds resilience and strengthens your ability to face future challenges with confidence. Feeling weak is natural. Everyone experiences days when motivation is low or the body and mind feel drained. Accepting this feeling without shame or judgment is the first step. It's okay to acknowledge vulnerability and fatigue. Denying your weakness only creates inner conflict and resistance. Instead, recognize that strength is not the absence of weakness, but the courage to act in spite of it. This awareness opens the door to growth and self-compassion. When you decide to show up despite weakness, you shift your focus from how you feel to what you can control. Your feelings are real but temporary, while your actions have lasting impact. This shift in perspective helps you move beyond paralysis caused by negative emotions. It reminds you that discipline is about commitment, not mood. Your purpose and goals don't depend on perfect feelings, they depend on consistent action. Creating small, achievable goals on weak days helps maintain momentum. Instead of aiming for your usual full workload, break tasks into manageable parts that feel doable. Completing even a small step reinforces a sense of accomplishment and keeps you moving forward. Progress, no matter how small, fuels motivation and gradually restores energy. This approach prevents overwhelm and builds confidence in your ability to persevere. Building routines that require minimal willpower is another strategy. When habits are deeply ingrained, they activate automatically even when you feel depleted. Rely on these routines to guide your actions during low-energy periods. For example, Committing to a brief morning stretch or writing for 10 minutes can anchor your day. The consistency of showing up, even in small ways, strengthens your discipline and reduces the mental burden of decision-making. Mindset plays a critical role in showing up strong. Replace self-critical thoughts with encouraging one. Instead of telling yourself, "I'm too tired," or "I can't do this today," remind yourself, "I am doing my best," and showing up matters more than being perfect. Positive self-talk reprograms your brain to focus on effort and progress rather than limitation. This mental shift builds resilience and keeps you engaged. It's important to understand that showing up strong doesn't mean ignoring your body or mind. Rest and self-care are essential components of discipline. Pushing through weakness doesn't require reckless exhaustion. Balance effort with recovery by listening to your needs while maintaining commitment. Schedule breaks, prioritize sleep, and nourish your body to sustain energy over the long term. Discipline is sustainable, not destructive. Accountability helps you show up on weekdays. Share your goals and struggles with someone who supports your growth. Having someone to check in with increases motivation and reduces isolation. Accountability creates external structure that complements internal discipline. It reminds you that your efforts impact more than just yourself, and encourages you to keep going when self-motivation falters. Recognize the power of showing up strong as a form of resistance against the temptation to quit. Every time you choose action over surrender, you build mental toughness. These choices accumulate and create a foundation of strength that carries you through future adversity. Over time, showing up becomes less about fighting weakness and more about embodying resilience. Reflect on past experiences where you showed up despite difficulty. Recall how those moments led to growth and success. Use these memories as fuel when you face current challenges. Remembering your capability reinforces your belief in yourself. It proves that you have overcome hardship before and can do so again. This reflection strengthens your resolve and commitment. In moments of weakness, focus on purpose. Connect your daily actions to the larger meaning behind your goals. Purpose provides motivation that transcends temporary feelings. It reminds you why you started and why continuing matters. Purpose turns discomfort into a necessary step toward achieving what you value most. Show up strong by preparing mentally before challenges arise. Visualize yourself pushing through weakness and completing tasks successfully. Mental rehearsal builds confidence and reduces anxiety. It trains your mind to respond with determination rather than avoidance. This preparation equips you to face difficult moments with a steady mindset. Physical movement, even in small amounts, can combat feelings of weakness. Light exercise or stretching releases endorphins and boosts energy. Incorporating movement into your routine helps break lethargy and refreshes your mind. This physical activation supports showing up with greater strength and focus. Accept that weakness will never fully disappear. It's part of the human experience. The goal is not to eliminate weakness, but to cultivate the ability to act regardless. Discipline is the bridge between feeling weak and achieving results. It transforms vulnerability into power through consistent effort. Celebrate every instance of showing up when you feel weak. Acknowledge the courage it takes to act despite difficulty. These celebrations build positive associations with perseverance and reinforce your commitment. Gratitude for your own resilience creates a cycle of growth and motivation. Remember that showing up strong is a daily choice. It requires continuous commitment and self-awareness. Some days will be harder than others, but every effort counts. Each day you choose to act despite weakness, you build a stronger, more disciplined version of yourself. Ultimately, showing up strong when you feel weak is about mastering yourself. It's about refusing to let temporary feelings control your destiny. It's about proving to yourself that your goals and values are more important than momentary discomfort. This discipline creates freedom. the freedom to live a purposeful, empowered life regardless of circumstances. By consistently choosing to show up strong, you develop resilience, confidence, and unwavering commitment. You become someone who can face any challenge and continue moving forward. This strength transforms not only your achievements, but your entire approach to life. Showing up strong is not just an action, it's an identity. Embrace it and watch your life change in ways you never imagined. Chapter 13. Take one small step even on hard days. Taking one small step even on hard days is the foundation of lasting progress. Life will inevitably present challenges that drain your energy, test your resolve, and tempt you to stop moving forward. On these difficult days, the instinct to give up or delay action can feel overwhelming. Yet, discipline is built through persistence in spite of hardship. Choosing to act, even if only minimally, keeps the momentum alive and prevents setbacks from turning into derailments. Small steps may seem insignificant when the mountain ahead looks massive. However, consistent, tiny actions add up to meaningful change. Progress is rarely made in giant leaps, but in the quiet, persistent commitment to keep going. When you struggle, lowering the bar to just one small step reduces pressure and overcomes resistance. This approach honors your current state without allowing it to halt your progress. One small step can be as simple as writing a single sentence, making a phone call, organizing your workspace, or taking a brief walk. These modest actions carry powerful symbolic weight because they demonstrate commitment. They reinforce the belief that you are not defined by your struggles, but by your responses. Each small success reminds you that you are capable, even on your toughest days. Hard days can bring heavy emotions such as frustration, fatigue, or doubt. These feelings can cloud your judgment and convince you that inaction is the only option. Instead of fighting those feelings head-on, accept them without letting them dictate your behavior. Allow yourself to feel the difficulty while still taking your small step forward. This balance creates space for compassion and action to coexist. Breaking down overwhelming tasks into manageable pieces is essential. When the big picture feels intimidating, focus on what you can do right now. This prevents paralysis and shifts your energy from worry to action. Completing a small task provides immediate feedback that you are still moving, fueling motivation to continue. Momentum grows from the accumulation of these small efforts. Routine helps make taking small steps automatic. When certain actions become habitual, they require less mental effort and are less vulnerable to emotional swings. Develop rituals that support your goals so you can rely on them during hard days. These rituals serve as anchors that keep you connected to your purpose even when motivation wanes. Accountability supports progress on difficult days. Sharing your goal of taking small steps with a trusted friend or mentor increases commitment. Knowing someone else is watching encourages follow-through. Accountability partners can also provide encouragement when your energy is low, reminding you of your strength and potential. Celebrate small victories to build confidence and positivity. Acknowledge the courage it takes to act on hard days, no matter how modest the step. Recognizing progress, however minor, rewires your brain to focus on achievement rather than struggle. This positive reinforcement makes it easier to repeat the behavior. Remember that consistency beats intensity over time. A single big effort followed by inactivity rarely creates lasting change. Regular small steps, taken even during hardship, develop endurance and reliability. Discipline thrives on consistency, not bursts of temporary energy. Reflection deepens the impact of taking small steps. At the end of challenging days, review what you accomplished and how it felt. Notice how even minimal action prevented stagnation. Use these reflections to adjust your approach and plan for future difficulties. Reflection strengthens self-awareness and refines your path forward. Prepare for hard days by anticipating obstacles and deciding in advance to take small steps. This mental preparation reduces the power of doubt and excuses when difficulties arise. Visualize yourself pushing through adversity with resilience and grace. Mental rehearsal strengthens your resolve and primes you to act. Taking small steps during hardship teaches patience. Growth is rarely linear or fast. Some days will feel like progress and others like struggle. Embracing patience means understanding that forward movement is progress regardless of speed. This mindset reduces frustration and keeps you engaged. When motivation is low, reconnect with your deeper purpose. Remind yourself why your goals matter beyond immediate discomfort. Purpose fuels perseverance by linking daily actions to meaningful outcomes. This connection transforms small steps into acts of commitment to your vision. Physical self-care supports mental resilience on hard days. Adequate rest, nutrition, and light exercise enhance energy and focus. When your body is cared for, even small steps feel more doable. Prioritize self-care to sustain your discipline over time. Avoid all-or-nothing thinking. Waiting to feel completely ready or waiting for perfect conditions often leads to inaction. Accept that imperfection is part of the process. Taking one small step, regardless of conditions, is better than waiting indefinitely. Recognize the ripple effect of small actions. One tiny step today can influence tomorrow's choices, creating a chain of positive momentum. Trust that your efforts have power beyond immediate outcomes. This perspective adds meaning to even the smallest efforts. Replace self-criticism with encouragement. When hard days trigger negative self-talk, counter it with affirmations focused on effort and persistence. This shift supports mental toughness and prevents discouragement from halting your progress. Understand that setbacks are part of the journey. Taking small steps after a setback rebuilds momentum and confidence. Each action after difficulty is a statement of resilience and commitment. Small steps also reduce overwhelm by making goals feel more achievable. They create a sense of control when circumstances seem chaotic. This control empowers you to keep moving even when external factors are challenging. Building a habit of taking small steps regardless of circumstances creates a resilient mindset. This mindset equips you to face future challenges with confidence and consistency. In summary, taking one small step even on hard days is a powerful discipline practice. It honors your current state while refusing to let difficulty stop you. These small actions build momentum, confidence, and resilience. They transform hardship from a barrier into a stepping stone towards success. Through consistent small steps, you forge an unshakable path of growth and progress. Chapter 14. Build structure that supports your long-term goals. Creating a solid structure that supports your long-term goals is essential for sustained success and personal growth. Without a reliable framework guiding your actions, goals can become abstract ideas that fade with distractions or setbacks. Structure acts as the backbone of discipline, providing stability, direction, and consistency that turn dreams into reality. Building this structure requires intentionality, clarity, and ongoing commitment. Long-term goals often feel overwhelming because of their scale and complexity. Structure breaks these daunting ambitions into manageable components. By organizing your goals into clear milestones, timelines, and daily habits, you create a pathway that is easier to follow. This decomposition makes progress measurable and provides regular opportunities to celebrate achievements. Without this breakdown, motivation wanes as the big picture seems unreachable. One of the first steps in building supportive structure is setting specific and realistic goals. Vague objectives lead to vague outcomes. Clear goals define what success looks like and allow you to create focused plans. This clarity filters out distractions and aligns your efforts with what truly matters. When your goals are precise, your structure becomes more efficient and effective. Next, design daily and weekly routines that reflect your priorities. These routines should directly support your long-term goals by embedding productive behaviors into your lifestyle. Consistency in small actions builds momentum over time. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, a structured routine could include regular exercise, meal planning, and sufficient rest. These habits accumulate to create lasting transformation. Time management is a critical component of this structure. Allocating dedicated blocks of time for goal-related activities ensures that progress happens regularly. Scheduling these periods as non-negotiable appointments protects them from being pushed aside by less important tasks. Effective time management reduces stress by preventing last-minute rushes and enhances focus by providing clear work periods. Environment plays a significant role in supporting your structure. Organize your physical and digital spaces to minimize distractions and encourage productivity. A clean, well-arranged workspace signals readiness and facilitates efficient work. Removing clutter and setting boundaries around your work area creates a mental cue that it is time to focus. Technology tools like calendars, reminders, and task management apps help maintain structure and track progress. Regular review and adjustment are vital to maintaining a structure that truly supports your goals. Life circumstances, priorities, and resources change. A rigid structure that does not adapt can become a burden instead of a help. Schedule weekly or monthly reflections to assess what is working and what needs improvement. Use these sessions to realign your routines, habits, and plans with your evolving vision. Accountability strengthens your structure by adding external support. Sharing your goals and plans with trusted individuals creates a network of encouragement and feedback. Accountability partners remind you of your commitments and provide motivation during difficult times. This social element reinforces discipline and makes the journey less isolating. Building structure also involves establishing limits and boundaries. Protecting your time and energy from unnecessary demands preserves your capacity for focused work on your goals. Saying no to distractions and obligations that do not align with your priorities is an act of self-respect. Boundaries prevent burnout and keep your structure sustainable. Visualization and mental preparation complement physical structures. Regularly imagine yourself successfully following your routines and achieving milestones. Mental rehearsal primes your mind for action and reduces resistance. It helps internalize your structure as a natural part of your identity rather than an external imposition. Celebrate progress within your structure to fuel motivation. Recognize small wins and milestones as evidence of your dedication and effectiveness. Positive reinforcement creates a feedback loop that encourages continued adherence to your routines and plans. Flexibility within your structure allows for creativity and problem solving. While routines provide stability, unexpected challenges require adaptation. Viewing your structure as a living system rather than a rigid set of rules enables you to respond constructively to obstacles. This adaptability is key to resilience and long-term success. Discipline is supported by clear goals, well-designed routines, effective time management, organized environments, regular review, accountability, boundaries, mental preparation, celebration, and flexibility. Each element strengthens the others, creating a robust framework that guides you through challenges and toward achievement. Implementing this structure requires patience and persistence. Habits take time to form, and adjustments are part of the process. Embrace the journey and trust that every step forward reinforces your foundation. When your structure aligns with your values and goals, it becomes a source of empowerment. It turns intentions into actions, uncertainty into clarity, and chaos into order. This alignment makes discipline a natural byproduct, rather than a forced effort. Ultimately, building structure that supports your long-term goals transforms your relationship with your aspirations. Instead of feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, you experience confidence and purpose. Your goals become attainable realities, shaped by deliberate and consistent action. Commit to constructing and refining your structure with care and focus. This investment in your process is the key to mastering discipline and unlocking your full potential. With a strong foundation, your long-term goals become achievable milestones on a journey of continuous growth and fulfillment. Chapter 15. Strengthen your willpower through daily repetition. Willpower is like a muscle. It grows stronger with consistent use and practice. Each day offers an opportunity to exercise this mental strength by making deliberate choices that align with your goals, even when it feels challenging. Repetition is the key to transforming fleeting moments of determination into lasting habits that support discipline and self-mastery. Strengthening willpower requires daily commitment and conscious effort. When you engage in repetitive actions that require self-control, you build endurance in your mental resolve. Just as physical exercise trains muscles to handle more load, repeated acts of discipline condition your mind to resist temptation and maintain focus. This process rewires neural pathways, making it easier over time to choose what serves your growth instead of short-term comfort. Daily repetition also reduces the energy needed to make disciplined choices. At first, saying no to distractions or pushing through discomfort demands significant mental effort. But as you practice consistently, these choices become more automatic. The brain conserves energy by turning conscious effort into habit. This efficiency is essential for sustaining willpower over long periods and across multiple areas of your life. Small daily actions matter immensely. You don't need to perform grand feats of discipline every day. Consistent simple steps, like waking up on time, completing a task, or resisting a minor temptation, contribute to strengthening willpower. These manageable challenges build confidence and create momentum. Each successful repetition reinforces your belief in your ability to follow through. Tracking your progress enhances the effect of daily repetition. When you visibly mark your consistent efforts, it provides motivation and accountability. Seeing a chain of successful days encourages you not to break the streak. This visual feedback strengthens your resolve and makes repetition feel rewarding rather than burdensome. Willpower can be depleted if overused without rest. Balancing effort with recovery is vital. Allow yourself breaks and moments of rest to recharge mental energy. Incorporate relaxation techniques and sleep hygiene into your routine to support sustained self-control. Proper care for your body and mind ensures that your daily practice is effective and sustainable. Challenge yourself progressively. Gradually increase the difficulty or duration of your disciplined actions. This progression pushes your limits and fosters growth. Avoid stagnation by setting new goals once previous habits feel comfortable. Continuous challenge maintains engagement and prevents complacency. Prepare for moments of weakness by planning responses in advance. Anticipate situations where willpower might falter and decide how you will act. This preparation reduces impulsive decisions and supports consistent repetition. Mental rehearsal strengthens your ability to stick to your commitments, even under pressure. Celebrate your consistency to reinforce positive behavior. Acknowledge the effort you put into daily repetition and its impact on your growth. This recognition nurtures a positive mindset and encourages continued practice. Positive reinforcement is a powerful motivator that sustains willpower development. Accountability partners or groups can provide external support for daily repetition. Sharing your goals and progress with others increases commitment and motivation. External encouragement helps you stay on track when internal motivation dips. Social support enhances the effectiveness of your practice. Avoid perfectionism in your daily practice. Missing a day or slipping occasionally does not erase progress. View setbacks as opportunities to learn and improve, rather than reasons to quit. This mindset protects your willpower from being undermined by all or nothing thinking. Developing willpower through repetition creates a foundation for self-mastery. It empowers you to make choices aligned with your values and goals consistently. This power over impulses and distractions opens the door to greater achievement and fulfillment. Over time, disciplined repetition changes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through and stays committed. This identity shift influences your behavior, making disciplined actions more natural. Willpower becomes part of who you are rather than something you must force. Integrate mindfulness into your daily practice. Being present and aware of your thoughts and feelings helps you notice when discipline wavers. Mindfulness supports conscious decision-making and prevents automatic reactions that undermine willpower. This awareness strengthens your ability to choose actions aligned with your goals. Use positive affirmations to support your daily repetition. Statements that reinforce your commitment and strength help maintain motivation. Affirmations can counter negative self-talk and build confidence in your ability to maintain discipline. Remember that willpower is not infinite, but renewable. Each day's practice replenishes your mental strength for future challenges. Approach your daily repetition as an investment in long-term resilience rather than a short-term struggle. Stay flexible and adjust your practice as needed. Life circumstances change, and your routine may require modification to remain effective. Adaptability ensures that your daily repetition remains relevant and supportive of your evolving goals. In conclusion, strengthening your willpower through daily repetition is a powerful strategy for mastering discipline. Consistent small actions build mental endurance, create habits, and foster identity change. Balancing effort with rest, celebrating progress, and seeking accountability supports sustainable growth. This ongoing commitment transforms fleeting determination into lasting self-control and propels you toward your highest potential. Chapter 16. Guard your time like your future depends on it. Time is your most valuable resource, and how you protect it will define the quality of your life, the strength of your character, and the results of everything you strive to achieve. Every second you allow to pass without intention is a piece of your potential slipping away. Unlike money or energy, time is the one thing you can never get back. Once it's gone forever. That's why guarding your time is not a luxury or a productivity hack. It's a discipline you must build if you truly care about your future. There is always something or someone trying to pull your time away from what matters. Whether it's social media, meaningless conversations, unplanned meetings, or endless distractions, the world is full of ways to rob you of focus. If you don't take control of your time, someone else will. If you don't define what deserves your attention, your life will be filled with things that don't. You must take your time seriously, because no one else will do it for you. To guard your time, begin with clarity. You need to know what your time is worth. You must define what's important to you, what goals you're working toward, and what actions will move you closer to those outcomes. Without this clarity, your time will be spent reacting to life instead of creating the life you want. The first step is to stop being busy and start being deliberate. Ask yourself every day, what matters most right now, and how can I protect the time to pursue it? One of the simplest and most powerful ways to guard your time is by using a calendar. Not to fill it with tasks, but to protect it like a gatekeeper. Schedule your deep work, your rest, your learning, and even your breaks with intention. Once it's on your calendar, treat it like an appointment you can't cancel. Don't wait until you feel like doing something to make time for it. Schedule it in advance and commit to it regardless of mood. This is how you build structure and avoid letting the day slip through your fingers. You must also become comfortable saying no. Not every request deserves your yes. Not every opportunity is aligned with your priorities. People will ask for your time without understanding how precious it is. If you constantly agree to what others want, you will live a life designed by someone else. Saying no is not selfish, it's essential. Every no to a distraction is a yes to your vision. Learn to set boundaries firmly and respectfully, and don't feel guilty for protecting what's important to you. Distractions will always exist. Your job is not to eliminate them entirely, but to create a system that minimizes their power. Turn off notifications, clear digital clutter, and design your environment to support your focus. Your space should reflect your seriousness. Guarding your time starts with guarding your attention. When you reduce friction and make it easier to focus, you become more productive in less time, and you preserve energy for the things that actually matter. Guarding your time also means tracking it. Keep a log of how you spend your hours for at least a few days. Be brutally honest with yourself. You may be shocked at how much time is being drained by unimportant tasks or mindless behaviors. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. This awareness gives you the power to make better decisions and reclaim lost hours. Awareness always comes before change. You need routines that protect your mornings and evenings. These are the bookends of your day, and they shape how you start and finish. Mornings should begin with intention, not reaction. Avoid checking your phone first thing. Use the early hours to think, plan, and move your body. Evenings should be a time for reflection, learning, and winding down with purpose. A strong start and a clean finish create momentum and clarity that carry over into everything you do. You must also stop wasting time waiting for motivation. Action creates energy. If you wait to feel ready before guarding your time, you will spend your life reacting to whatever pulls at you the loudest. Decide what matters, schedule it, and follow through whether or not you feel like it. This is how you take your time seriously. This is how you create the future you want. Surround yourself with people who respect time. If you constantly spend your energy on people who waste theirs, it becomes harder to stay disciplined. Be around those who are focused, intentional, and protective of their own time. They will inspire you to raise your standards. And if you're in an environment that constantly pulls you away from your goals, consider what you need to change. Your environment can support or sabotage your discipline, and the choice is always yours. Reflection is another part of guarding your time. At the end of each day, ask yourself what worked, what didn't, and what needs to change tomorrow. Use this time to realign your habits and choices with your long-term vision. Without reflection, you will keep repeating the same mistakes and calling it normal. Guarding your time means not just doing more, but doing what matters with full presence and awareness. Don't confuse urgency with importance. Just because something demands your attention doesn't mean it deserves it. Learn to pause before reacting. Ask yourself whether this task, conversation, or commitment is truly aligned with your goals. If it's not, remove it or delegate it. Time management is not just about getting things done. It's about getting the right things done. You don't need more hours in a day. You need to use the hours you already have with greater clarity, intention, and discipline. Guarding your time is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's choosing to value yourself and your vision enough to protect your energy, your focus, and your life from everything that tries to steal it. When you take time seriously, you live with urgency but not anxiety. You begin to prioritize depth over speed, impact over activity, and purpose over popularity. You stop chasing everything and start building something. You stop being busy and start being effective. Your days become more peaceful, your results become more meaningful, and your future becomes more secure. The people who accomplish great things are not the ones who do the most. They are the ones who guard their time the most. They treat each day like it matters because they understand that it does. They are not perfect, but they are intentional. They are not always fast, but they are consistent. They are not driven by pressure. They are led by purpose. And every decision they make reflects that. Guard your time like your future depends on it, because it does. Time is the soil where your habits grow, where your vision takes shape, and where your life unfolds. Once it's gone, it cannot be replaced, so protect it fiercely. Use it wisely. Live with the awareness that how you spend your time today shapes who you become tomorrow, and let that awareness guide everything you do. Chapter 17. Follow a plan and finish what you start. Following a plan and finishing what you start is a habit that builds trust within yourself and creates the kind of momentum that changes your life. Most people begin with good intentions, fueled by energy and excitement, but few stay with their commitment until the end. They get distracted, discouraged, or overwhelmed, and they abandon their projects halfway through. But real growth and long-term results come from completing the things you start, not just dreaming about them or taking the first few steps. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done, even when the feeling of motivation has faded. When you train yourself to follow a plan and complete what you begin, you separate yourself from the majority who quit when it gets difficult. The first step to finishing anything is creating a clear and realistic plan. Without a plan, it's easy to get lost, waste time, or drift off course. A good plan gives you structure. It helps you break big goals into smaller tasks that are easier to manage. It gives you checkpoints so you can measure progress and make adjustments. Having a plan doesn't guarantee success, but not having one almost always leads to delay or failure. Planning is how you respect your goal before you pursue it. It means you've thought it through and decided that it matters enough to deserve your full attention. Once your plan is in place, your job is not to wait until the perfect time or until you feel ready. Your job is to begin and keep moving forward. Most things that are worth doing will feel difficult at times. You won't always be excited. You won't always feel confident. But if you've built a structure and know the steps, you can lean on the plan when your emotions are unstable. Emotion is unpredictable. A plan provides direction when motivation runs low. Finishing what you start teaches your mind that you are someone who can be counted on. Each time you complete something, you prove to yourself that you have the ability to see things through. This builds internal confidence and reduces the amount of resistance you feel the next time you begin something new. You begin to trust your own word, and that trust strengthens your self-discipline. People who follow through are not more talented, they are more consistent. They don't leave things undone because they know that every unfinished task creates mental clutter and weakens personal integrity. To finish what you start, you must learn to manage your energy wisely. You can't expect to give everything your full focus at all times. Some days, you will need to slow down. But slowing down is different from stopping. Taking a break is not the same as giving up. The key is to keep the process alive, even if your pace varies. Even one small action a day keeps the door open to progress. When you maintain some level of momentum, no matter how small, you stay in the game long enough to finish. You must also remove distractions that tempt you to abandon the plan. The world is full of shiny objects and quick escapes. Every time you stop following your plan to chase something new, you reset your progress. You dilute your focus. You tell your mind that discipline is negotiable, but your goals need your full attention. Your life depends on your ability to focus on what matters. Don't waste time trying to be everywhere at once. Choose a direction and stay with it long enough to reach something meaningful. When challenges appear, and they always do, your response will determine the outcome. Most people quit because they didn't expect the process to be hard. They didn't plan for resistance. But part of any good plan is knowing that difficulties are normal. You will get tired. You will feel unsure. That doesn't mean something's wrong. It just means you're doing something that matters. You must remind yourself why you started, and then keep going. Quitting doesn't end the discomfort, it just replaces it with regret. One powerful way to stay committed to finishing is to create public accountability. Share your plan with someone you trust. Let them know what you're working on and ask them to check in with you. When someone else knows your commitment, it becomes harder to walk away from it, not because of shame, but because you've added a layer of responsibility. You've declared that this matters, and you've made it real beyond your own thoughts. Track your progress in a visible way. Use a journal, a checklist, or any system that lets you see how far you've come. This reinforces the value of your effort. It reminds you that every small action matters. When you see progress, it becomes easier to stay engaged. It turns the process into something concrete rather than abstract. Progress is a powerful motivator because it proves that your discipline is working. Another important part of following a plan is reviewing and adjusting it as needed. Sticking to a plan doesn't mean being rigid. Sometimes life will throw unexpected changes at you. Instead of giving up, adapt, shift your timeline if necessary. But never forget your goal. Flexibility is strength when it helps you continue moving forward. A strong plan is not fixed. It evolves while still pointing you toward the finish line. When you finally finish what you set out to do, no matter how small or large, take time to reflect. Recognize the effort it took. Study what worked and what didn't. This reflection turns experience into wisdom. It prepares you to approach your next goal with more clarity and strength. Finishing something isn't just about the outcome. It's about the person you become in the process. You learn to value consistency. You learn to respect your own word. You learn that results come from steady effort, not bursts of excitement. Discipline is not just about willpower, it's about commitment. It's about waking up and choosing to follow the plan, even when you don't feel like it. It's about being honest with yourself and choosing action over excuse. When you live this way, your life becomes more focused. You stop chasing everything and you start building something real. Finishing what you start makes you different in a world full of distraction. Most people will start and quit many things, but those who finish earn the rewards. They build things that last. They create lives they're proud of. They understand that discipline is not a punishment, it's a gift. A gift that brings freedom, clarity, and real results. Follow a plan, stick to it, adjust when needed. Ignore the noise. Push through when it gets hard. Finish what you start, not for anyone else, but because you respect your own future enough to follow through. That's what real discipline looks like, and it's within your reach every single day. Chapter 18. Challenge yourself to rise above every setback. Setbacks are a natural part of any meaningful journey, and the way you respond to them defines your character, shapes your path, and determines how far you can go. Everyone faces failure, loss, delay, rejection, and disappointment at some point, but not everyone chooses to grow from those moments. Most people stop when things go wrong. They give up when progress slows or when their plans fall apart. But those who rise above setbacks do something different. They decide to respond instead of react. They challenge themselves to get stronger instead of surrendering to defeat. They refuse to let a bad moment define their future. When you experience a setback, it's easy to believe that everything you worked for is ruined. Your mind starts building stories that convince you to quit or play small. But setbacks don't break you unless you give them permission. The real challenge is not the event itself, it's the thoughts that follow. If you let frustration take over, you'll lose direction. If you allow self-pity, you'll slow your recovery. But if you face the situation head-on, accept what happened, and stay grounded in your values, you'll create a new path forward. It starts with mindset. You must expect setbacks as part of the process, not as evidence that you're failing. Setbacks test your commitment, not your worth. They push you to look deeper, think smarter, and act with more clarity. When you meet resistance, you're not being punished, you're being invited to rise. View every challenge as a mirror, showing you where you need to grow. Maybe it's your focus, maybe your patience, maybe your strategy. Whatever it is, the setback is giving you a lesson you couldn't learn any other way. To rise above, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. What went wrong? What did you avoid? What needs to change? This isn't about blaming yourself or dwelling on the mistake. It's about owning the situation and choosing to grow from it. Responsibility is empowering because it puts the power back in your hands. When you take ownership of your setback, you take ownership of your comeback. You move from victim to leader, from passive to active. Once you see the lesson, the next step is to make a decision. You can either stay where you are or challenge yourself to move forward. That choice belongs to you. Growth doesn't happen automatically. It happens when you do the hard thing on purpose. And sometimes the hardest thing is to keep going when everything feels like it's falling apart. But the truth is, nothing is over until you say it is. If you're willing to keep showing up, to rebuild with intention, to adjust and keep going, then your setback becomes the soil for your next breakthrough. Discipline is what carries you through that process. When motivation disappears, discipline remains. You might not feel strong, but you can still choose the next step. You might not feel inspired, but you can still take action. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. That's how you prove to yourself that you're bigger than what you're going through. You rise one step at a time, not by force, but by decision. Take care of your mental and emotional state during setbacks. Don't ignore how you feel, but don't let feelings control your actions. Acknowledge the pain, then refocus on what you can control. Talk to people who uplift you, not those who make the setback feel heavier. Feed your mind with strength, not fear. What you focus on will grow, so choose your focus carefully. Setbacks often bring clarity. They strip away what doesn't matter. They reveal what's not working. They show you who you can count on. That clarity is a gift. If you choose to use it, you can rebuild with better insight. You can refine your path. You can move forward with greater understanding. But you only gain that insight if you stay present and keep learning. Don't expect your comeback to be quick or easy. There will be days when progress is invisible. There will be moments when doubt creeps back in. But every time you choose to act instead of quit, you make a deposit in your resilience. Over time, those deposits become unshakable strength. You become someone who doesn't just survive hardship. You grow from it. Commit to small actions. One good decision, 1 hour of focused work, one clear conversation, one honest journal entry. You don't have to fix everything in one day. You just have to keep moving. Momentum returns when you stop waiting and start building again. And when you do, your confidence grows because you see that the setback didn't end you. It shaped you. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Everyone faces their own battles, and some are hidden. What matters is that you keep showing up for your life. Focus on your process, your lessons, your growth. Stay grounded in your purpose and protect your vision. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're further than you were, and you're still in the fight. That matters more than you realize. In the end, the people who create meaningful lives are not those who had the easiest paths. They are the ones who refused to let failure stop them. They kept learning, kept showing up, kept believing when no one else did. They made discipline a daily practice, not a seasonal emotion. They turned pain into fuel. They found strength in setbacks. And because of that, they didn't just rise, they rose higher. So challenge yourself, not just to endure but to rise. Rise above the noise. Rise above the doubt. Rise above your own excuses. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be committed. Your future will be built by the actions you take. When everything feels uncertain, choose strength, choose courage, choose growth. Let every setback become a turning point. Not the end of the story, but the start of something better. Chapter 19. Master yourself before trying to lead others. Before you try to guide someone else, you have to know who you are, how you think, how you react, and what you truly stand for. Leadership begins with self-awareness and the ability to manage your own behavior with intention and discipline. You cannot teach others to be calm in crisis if you lose control in pressure. You cannot lead someone to consistency if you're driven by emotion and impulse. The greatest influence comes from example, not authority. If your actions don't reflect what you speak, people may hear you, but they won't follow you. The world doesn't need more voices telling others what to do. It needs people who lead through personal clarity, restraint, and strength. Mastering yourself means learning to respond to life instead of reacting. It means knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It means creating emotional distance between stimulus and response so that your choices are made with thought rather than triggered by impulse. When you master your responses, you build credibility. When people see that you are consistent under stress, they begin to trust you, not just for what you know, but for how you carry yourself. You cannot control others, but you can control your words, your energy, your behavior, and your time. You can choose to lead with honesty, show up with discipline, and live by values that don't change with your mood. That's what mastery looks like. It's not about perfection, but about alignment. What you think, say, and do must line up. If you speak of patience but live with anger, there's no integrity. If you promote hard work but procrastinate every task, your message loses power. Your leadership will never rise above your ability to manage your own life. Self-mastery begins with small decisions repeated consistently. It means showing up when it's inconvenient. It means doing what you said you would even when no one is watching. It means saying no to short-term comfort so that you can build long-term strength. You cannot expect others to follow a standard you are not willing to uphold. When you hold yourself to high standards, not out of ego but out of principle, people take notice. Quiet strength earns more respect than loud commands. Before you expect others to be disciplined, you must examine your own habits. Are you showing up with structure? Do you follow routines that keep your mind sharp and your goals clear? Or do you drift from task to task, hoping things will work out? Mastery means owning your time. It means setting boundaries that protect your focus. When others see that you value your hours and protect them fiercely, they begin to mirror that behavior. You lead best when your life reflects the lessons you want others to learn. Your emotional discipline is also a form of leadership. Anyone can be calm when life is easy, but the true test of self-mastery is how you act under pressure. Do you let anger control your tone? Do you allow fear to shape your decisions? Mastery doesn't mean avoiding emotion. It means managing it. It means noticing what you feel, accepting it, and then choosing a response that aligns with your values. When people see that you don't let chaos break your focus, they begin to trust your guidance during hard times. Another part of mastering yourself is learning to listen, not just to others, but to your own thoughts and behaviors. You must become the kind of person who reflects deeply and honestly. What triggers your stress? What patterns keep repeating in your life? What habits are holding you back? You cannot fix what you're not willing to face. Self-mastery requires that you look inward before you point outward. When you understand yourself, your weaknesses lose power over you, and your strengths become tools for real impact. You must also learn to take responsibility for everything in your control. No blaming, no excuses, no waiting for someone else to fix things. When you own your choices, your time and your actions, you gain freedom. You begin to lead not from a place of demand, but from personal conviction. People follow those who carry weight with grace and don't shift blame when outcomes fall short. Accountability is not just a leadership trait, it's a foundation of self-respect. The path to self-mastery is not about becoming better than others, it's about becoming better than you were. It's about sharpening your ability to think clearly, to act with discipline, and to live with purpose. It's about holding your ground when life challenges your values. It's about refusing to be driven by ego, fear, or convenience. Mastery is quiet, it's steady. It's built one decision at a time. And once it's built, it becomes unshakable. When you begin to lead others, your words carry more weight, your behavior is noticed more closely, and your decisions affect more people. That's why leadership without self-mastery becomes dangerous. You can't inspire people to become something you're unwilling to pursue. You can't create a culture of excellence if you tolerate laziness in yourself. You can't build a team with integrity if you cut corners privately. The truth is, your team becomes a reflection of your standards. And those standards must be lived before they're spoken. The more disciplined you become, the more respect you'll gain. Not because you demand it, but because you earn it. People will begin to look to you for more than direction. They'll look to you for example. They'll learn from how you wake up, how you think, how you solve problems, and how you treat others. That's leadership. It doesn't begin when people follow, it begins when you master your own habits, mindset, and emotions. And self-mastery never ends. It's a lifelong practice. You will always be learning more about yourself. You will always have areas to grow. But as long as you stay committed to personal alignment, your influence will grow naturally. People follow those who live with consistency. They follow those who walk the path, not just talk about it. They follow those who have been tested and remained true. If you want to lead others well, start by leading yourself every single day. Wake up on purpose. Follow routines that sharpen your focus. Speak with intention. Act with clarity. Show up when it's hard. Stay grounded in your principles even when no one's watching. That is how trust is built. That is how example is set. That is how real leadership begins. And no matter where you are in life, this kind of leadership is available to you today. Chapter 20. Live each day by the standards you respect. Living each day by the standards you respect is the foundation of a meaningful and disciplined life. It's about making the choice every morning to act in alignment with the values you believe in, regardless of what others are doing, how you feel, or what the situation demands. The world will always tempt you to lower your standards, to take shortcuts, to justify compromise in the name of convenience. But when you live by your own code, one rooted in discipline, honesty, consistency, and strength, you build a life you can be proud of, one that reflects clarity instead of chaos, and self-respect instead of regret. The standards you respect define who you are. They are the quiet rules you hold yourself to, even when no one else is watching. You don't set these standards for others. You set them because they represent who you choose to be at your core. They are a reflection of what matters most to you, and living by them each day is how you keep your integrity intact. Without clear standards, you drift. With them, you direct your own path with intention. But it's not enough to just know what you value, you have to act on it. You have to make decisions that reflect those values, especially in moments when it would be easier not to. It's easy to be disciplined when things are going well. It's easy to stay focused when you feel motivated. But your true character shows in the small, ordinary choices, the ones where you could bend the rules, break a promise to yourself, or let a hard day justify weak actions. In those moments, you have a choice: do what's easy or do what's right. Live by convenience or live by principle. When you consistently choose the standard you respect, you begin to trust yourself. That trust builds momentum. You stop needing to be pushed or motivated by outside forces because your life has a built-in compass. You begin to move with a quiet sense of certainty, not because everything is perfect, but because you know you're walking your own path with purpose. There's peace in knowing you're not pretending, not hiding, not performing for approval. You're living in truth. You don't have to announce your standards to the world. You show them in how you spend your time, in the way you speak, in how you treat people, in the effort you give even when no one will see the result. Your standards are reflected in the habits you follow, the work you complete, the promises you keep, and the distractions you refuse. They show up in your discipline, your boundaries, your focus, and your consistency. And each time you act in line with them, you strengthen your sense of identity. To live by your standards, you must define them clearly. Don't rely on vague ideals like being a good person or working hard. What does that mean in your daily life? What does it look like in your decisions? Maybe it means waking up early without hitting snooze. Maybe it means finishing the work you said you would, even when tired. Maybe it means being kind without needing recognition, or speaking truth even when it's uncomfortable. Your standards must be specific enough to act on. Only then can they guide your behavior, and once your standards are clear, you must guard them. There will always be moments when bending them seems justified. You'll be tempted to take a day off from your values when no one is watching. But those moments are the most important, because what you do when it doesn't seem to matter will shape who you become when it does. If you compromise in private, you weaken your strength in public. If you let small actions slide, the bigger ones become harder to hold. Living by high standards doesn't mean being rigid or harsh with yourself. It means being honest. It means asking more of yourself because you know you're capable of more. It means respecting your future enough to make sacrifices in the present. And it means not settling for a version of life that doesn't align with your potential. You don't need to compare your standards to anyone else's. What matters is that they're true to what you believe is right, and that you live by them with consistency. Each day is a chance to live with more clarity. Not someday, not next year. Today. You don't have to overhaul everything at once. You just have to choose one action that reflects your standard. Start with how you begin your morning, how you respond to stress, how you speak when annoyed, how you show up when no one's around. These small, consistent acts build a foundation of trust and strength that cannot be shaken by outside circumstances. Your standards are not just for when life is going smoothly. They're for the hard days, the uncertain days, the ones where you feel lost or tired or overwhelmed. Especially on those days, you need something solid to return to. Your standards are your anchor. They are the reminder that even when things feel messy, you are still in control of how you act, of what you choose, of who you're becoming. And as you live by your standards more consistently, your life begins to reflect your values. You start attracting people who share your mindset. You begin to experience a deeper sense of peace because you're no longer living in conflict with yourself. There's no tension between who you are and who you want to be. You are that person. Not perfectly, but intentionally. And that makes all the difference. Living by your standards is not something you do once, it's something you recommit to every day. You won't always feel like it. You'll have moments where you fall short. But each day is a chance to come back stronger. Not because someone told you to, but because you've chosen a life that reflects strength, truth, and purpose. That's what discipline is about. Not control, but freedom. The kind of freedom that comes from knowing you are in charge of your own life, that your actions reflect your beliefs, that you're not being driven by chaos, distraction, or fear. So wake up tomorrow with clarity. Decide how you will live. Decide what you will allow and what you will no longer tolerate. Choose your actions with care. Let your day be shaped not by moods or circumstances, but by the standards you respect. And if you ever feel lost or uncertain, return to those standards. Let them remind you of who you are. Let them guide you through the noise. Let them help you build a life that is strong, honest, and deeply your own.